Looks kind of right, that's what I'm saying, but it's like.
Hey, so make sure that when you're checking somebody's, you have something that you can write stuff down on to tell them to change or add or whatever. Alright, so let's talk about going through the problem first itself. So you're thinking about opening a restaurant and searching for a good location, nothing specific there. From research you've done, you know that the mean income of those living near the restaurant must be over $85,000. So it told us mean. Well, on the quiz, we're not dealing with proportion yet. So we're definitely dealing with mean. This is what it is. The mean income of those living near the restaurant. It pretty much defines mu for you there. Over is telling us what? Greater than, that our alternative is going to be greater than. This is what our mu value is. To support the upscale restaurant you wish to open, you decide to take a simple random sample of 50. 50 is our what? N. Living near one potential location. That pretty much, again, specifies our individuals right there. And based on the mean income of the sample, you will decide whether to open a restaurant here. So we need our null and alternative hypotheses. So our H sub what equals, or what equals what? What are our units? So do make sure you have the dollars there, because that's what you're considering as your units. It just happens to go first instead of second. Our alternative hypothesis is going to be H sub A, and is going to be what instead? And be all because of this word right here that says over. So a type 1 error is going to be that the data showed what? What did the data show? Mean what? Spelled something wrong there. Something like that. Is what? Is what? Because that one is the direction of the alternative. The data showed the mean income of those living near the restaurant is more than $85,000, when actually so that sets me up for type 2, and I haven't even gotten to consequences yet. Type 2 would be, so data showed something, I'm going to skip that. But actually, the mean income of those, so this is where I am writing the alternative. No, I'm spelling that wrong. I'm spelling it wrong. So, but actually the mean income of those living near the restaurant is more than, so what should I go backwards and put here? And so that's the correct way to do it, but I usually avoid direction there and basically just say the data showed the income wasn't enough. It still kind of has direction in there a little bit. But actually the mean income of those living near the restaurant is more than $85,000. So, okay, I always miss that U. What would we choose to do in a type 1 error? We do open the restaurant, is that what you said?
Yeah.
What? And you generally something closes. So what would be my scenario and consequences here? So what? Would have succeeded. So miss out on an opportunity to make money there. Which one here seems like the worst? Probably the first one. But scenario to scenario, it's going to change. It just so happened that the 3 most recent ones we've talked about, type 1 has been the worst, but that's not always the case. All right, so that's part A. Questions on anything with type 1, type 2 error? So I would suggest tomorrow breaking it down, thinking about it like this, where you've got 2 things. You've got data showed, you've got what it actually is, you've got data showed, but what it actually is. And so in this type 1 error, the alternative goes with the first thing. In a type 2 error, the alternative goes with the second thing. All right, so moving on to B, which is a 4-step process. So state. What's the first thing we do in state? All right, population, sometimes population and defining your variable are trivial, like I'll accept different answers. This one, I would pretty much expect most of you to write word for word the exact same thing. What is your population?
People living near restaurants. Those living,
Yeah.
Which one are you doing? Are you doing
I'm just writing the population.
the meat or those living near the restaurant?
Yep.
Or the potential location? Yeah.
Potential location, potential restaurant. What's our next thing? And this is the, so these, both of these were word for word pretty much. So this is the mean income. What comes next? We've already done this. So null is mu is $85,000. I'm not gonna rewrite those. We've already I wrote those somewhere. I think I deleted it. And then we end this with what is alpha? Because in this one, it actually is given, it tells a significance level of 1%. 1% as a decimal is 0.01. What's next? And so we have method. What is our method here? What do you need to do there? And it what?
Wait, so how do you know if it's Z or T again? Because I thought it was Z.
All right, so the way I think through this is, what is our sample size?
50.
I don't have the whole problem typed here.
Well, see, that's what I was thinking. Like, it applies to the thing, but it says that you, like, I thought that, like, you get a mean for your sample. The way I think is, like, does the mean apply to
It's
everybody?
if you're still talking about your sample.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, in B, it says your sample produces a mean.
Right, so that's your X bar, which means that's your S. Like the way you're asking the question is actually how you answer it. Yes.
Produces a mean of and then has the same deviation.
Yes. Yes. So the way I think about it is that 87,000 or 85,741, is that talking about those 50 people? Yes.
Yeah.
So that's my X bar. That 3,213, is that talking about my 50 people still? Yes. So that is my S. And that's the way I think through it.
Oh, I thought it was the other way. I thought if it was talking about the sample. Was
Other way around. And so usually if they're in the sentence together a lot of times like this, then it's going to be your S. Otherwise, it's going to give it to you or say like, it is known that the population, whatever it is. So this is one sample T test for means because sigma is not given. What's my next thing? What is stated here? Which means I need to write.
That was my other question. When it's not stated in random, does it change the conclude sentence?
No, technically you just couldn't do anything with your results other than say it worked for this group, but on a test or a quiz, I'm not going to do it. Then on a test, yes, I realize that. On a test or a quiz, I'm going to make sure, like, if I do something last minute and I'll, like, literally just say in class, hey, pretend like the word random's in here because I forgot to type it.
Hypothetically, if it wasn't, then it's just.
You would, right. Mm-hmm. What's my next step or next condition? What do I need to write here? And then something along the lines of n is greater than or equal to, or the specific number. And then write what? The things to look for right now are if somebody forgot to write sigma is not given, if somebody forgot to write random selection, and if somebody forgot to write, we can use normal approximation. What's my next condition? To make sure that you write both independent and 10% condition. I'm checking that capital N is greater than or equal to what? And then so it ends up being that capital N is greater than or equal to and then so we put that in words, assuming or there are at least, doesn't matter. So we're good with all of our conditions. I put it's up here. So you do it like with that normal section. You don't have to do it like,
You don't have to do it twice.
right. All right, so then we're at do. This one I'll probably write out. We have that our X bar is what? I'm gonna shorthand here. Y'all can write out that stuff. Our X bar is what? Our S is 32 something. Our N is what? 50. Our alpha is, and is it a one tail or two tail? One tail because of the direction of the alternative. I'm going to write this as X bar minus mu divided by S over square root N. When I plug my numbers in, I'm going 85,741 minus 85,000 divided by 3213 over square root 50. And I get 1.631. Why do I choose to write 1.631 as opposed to 1.63? Because it's T, and that's a reminder to myself that I am using T, and T is 3 decimals. I'm not going to count off if you use 2 instead. So draw shade. This is a positive number, so it's over here. I shade to the right. Why? Because of the alternative being greater than. You end up getting a p-value of 0.0547 or close to that, depending on how much you rounded here. So our p-value, I'm going to come back to that. Our p-value is compared to what? And our alpha was what? So what am I putting in between here?
Not less than. Or,
You're right. Not less than. If your alternative is not equal to, it's 2 tail, otherwise it's 1 tail. Because not equal to would mean I'd have to draw it on both sides. Greater than's one side, less than's one side. So I'm just talking through our conclude. That means I'm gonna come back to that. So conclude would be we what? So p-value is not less, so we failed to reject the null hypothesis that mu equals 85,000 since the p-value is not less than alpha. So we do not have convincing evidence that the mean income for this residence in this area is greater than 85,000. So remember, it's all negative. So we fail to reject, is not less than, we do not have evidence. That's what I'm going to do now.